I'm Jessica. I'm here to explain your aftercare, and if you're a new client, this is going to be brand new information, and if you're a returning client, I want you to really focus on doing the exact same thing you did at the first session. Aftercare is going to consist of 2 packets of burn gel. It's like a clear, kind of watery liquid that goes over your eyebrows, only just a little bit on your fingertips, and go like this. Okay, you don't need to buy any more. Those 2 are going to be just fine. What you need to have is some sort of soap like CeraVe, Cetaphil, Dial soap, Dove, something simple that doesn't have any active ingredients in it, because it's going to be cleansing an open wound essentially. What you want to do is for 7 days, you are going to wash morning and night. And the way you do that is a little bit of water in the sink, a little bit of soap, and you're just gonna tap, tap, tap. Okay? After you do that, get a little bit of water and take off the excess soap, and then a tissue or a cotton round, and dab, dab, dab until it's super dry, and toss that away. So as far as the washing goes, you really want to do that because there's all kinds of free radicals in the air, dust, you go into a space and stuff can kind of collect on your fresh eyebrows. And the way that you're gonna heal your brows is with the ointment we give you. That burn gel is going to go on for 3 days, 3 times a day. So it will be today that you got your brows done, in the morning, the midday, and the night. And then the next day, morning, midday, and night. And then the 3rd day, morning, midday, and night. And then after that, you don't put on any more ointment. You kind of just let it dry heal at that point. For about 7 days, or maybe even 10, and in some cases 14 days, you're going to have scabs form on your eyebrow. Scabs can be in the form of a little flake or a dry skin patch, or they can actually be thick clusters of scabs. On either spectrum that you end up healing this way, you have to care for those scabs to make sure that they don't come off too early. They need to come off slowly, and they will come off by themselves. Don't worry about that. For those days, 7 to 14 days, you want to avoid certain things like a sauna, a hot steamy bathroom. That's going to loosen up the scabs too much and too early. You want to avoid being in direct sunlight, because that can burn that part of the skin. You want to avoid sleeping and very crazily letting your face rub all over the pillow. Just try to sleep gently as much as you can. And when you're in the shower, don't let the flow of the water go directly onto your face. Let it kind of come to the backside, and try to keep this area nice and dry. And a lot of clients will ask, how do I wash my face? It's very simple. You just wash around the area and not on the eyebrows. You can wear makeup. Avoid the eyebrow area at least a finger distance away from your eyebrows. So face makeup, a little eye makeup, that'll be fine. As far as sweating goes, we understand that it gets hot, or we walk around and we have to sweat, but we want to avoid the first 3 days that you have your brows done. Do not sweat at all. Sweat contains salt in it, and what salt does is it irritates the scab, or it irritates the wound, and it can potentially cause infection if you let the sweat stay and sit there for a long time, or it can make your color come out, because think of sweat and the salt from it eroding color and making it come out of the skin. So that's why sweat is super contradictive to your procedure that you get done. So for sure, the first 3 days, do not sweat, but you don't want to sweat too much for that 7 days or up to 14 days. And if you do, my advice to you is to clean your brows directly after your workout or your exercise, because that sweat sitting on the skin for too long can mess with your scabs. And remember what I said, we don't want our scabs to fall off too early. Some of you may use retinols, peels, facials, and lasers. You want to avoid using these treatments on your eyebrows. Something like retinol can be really great for the rest of your face, but not good for your permanent makeup or your microblading, because retinol is a chemical that can potentially change the color of your microblading. It could turn it red, blue, gray. So keep your retinols away from your eyebrows for sure. As far as lasers and other things like that, keep them away from the eyebrows and stay very mindful of it for the future. Depending on your skin type, oily, dry, combination, sensitive, your healing stages and the way the scabs look are going to reflect the way your skin type is. So for example, on the first 5 days, you're going to develop really dark scabbing on your eyebrows, and on some normal skin types it actually looks good and it actually looks nice, a little dramatic but still nice. Let's say on an oily skin type, you can get really dark, heavy scabs that they're a little too dramatic and maybe a little uncomfortable with how dark they look. That's totally normal because that's going to fade. And the only way it'll fade is if it goes through the scabbing process. So from days 5 to 10, you'll start to see those scabs wither away, shrivel up, or flake off. You may even see some floating in your hair, your eyebrow hair, and that's totally normal. When your scabs are flaking or crusting off, it could be more dramatic, where there's big chunks or big patches that have come off or cracked, or it could be more simple where it just looks like dry skin, very subtle, simple. You could be anywhere on the spectrum here depending on your skin type, and that's completely normal. The only thing that would be wrong is if you see something like yellow, that's infection. If it smells bad or if it looks really red and angry, that's when you want to be alarmed. Other than that, big chunky scabs, that's normal, that's okay. As long as you care for them the way I told you, you won't have to worry about them looking the way I described as far as being red and angry or different colors. The scabbing is over and done with at about 14 days at least. The next phase you have is a disappearing phase. This is where most of my clients get really scared because they're like, oh my gosh, they were so perfect and beautiful on day 1, then they became dark and crusty, and now where is the color? I don't see them anymore. This is a disappearing phase. What happens is your ink or the pigment that we implanted in your skin is hidden by another layer of fresh new skin. So that's making it look like it's not there or it's invisible. Once they completely heal at about 30 to 60 days, once they completely heal, that ink is going to shift to look more vibrant and more beautiful once it's completely healed. Once you come back for your 8-week touch-up to see us, you might see that the results are a bit lighter or softer or thinner than the first session. Totally normal. You might come back and they're just absolutely perfect. Or you might have some areas that have lightened in random spots. That has to do with your skin type. We all have pores, we all have oils, and just our daily life and how we take care of our skin is going to affect how the ink will stay in your brows. At the touch-up, we can make decisions on if we're going darker, if we're going thicker, if we're going to add a little more here and there, and that's normal with all of our clients. I actually prefer it this way because the first session we stay a little more conservative, try not to go over the top, we let it heal, we check out those results. Then the second session, we can make better decisions like darker, thicker, difference in the style. So that's really the goal there, is to do it in 2 steps. You'll also get all this information at your appointment. If you have any questions, you can always feel free to reach out to us. So thank you so much.